Welcome students. In this video we'll be learning about floating point errors. What is an error? What are the sources of errors and what are the types of errors? With examples we are going to see, and then what are different measures of errors are present and why we need to measure these errors, and we'll also see some problems under this chapter. So now let us see what is an error. An error is the difference between actual value and the approximated value. Actual value, let's take it as x, and approximated value as xa. So this is the definition of an error. So we will usually consider the absolute difference of these two values to find out what is the error that has occurred in the calculations. Why should we find out this error? Is because if you have seen our previous video, I have showed you the approximation techniques, right? So this explanation is given in the previous video itself, wherein we have done certain approximations. See, the actual value was 45867. See here, the actual value was 45867 after the decimal point, but we have approximated and we have written 459, and this value 459 is greater than the original value. This is the original value and this is the approximated value. This approximated value is greater than the original value if you observe here. So same thing happens in the next example also. See here, this is the original value and this is just 0.458, whereas original value is 0.45827 also. So this is left out here, right? Approximated value is less than the original value. So basically here what happens is there is an error that is generated, and due to this error, in the after the entire computation process, once you get the final answer, it will also have an error, isn't it? We need to measure the amount of error that has occurred in order to know what is the accuracy level of the answer. Based on that, we can proceed with further calculations. So based on error approximations, we decide which algorithms are better under each situation. If one algorithm is giving you more error and the other algorithm gives you less error, then we choose the algorithm which gives lesser error to get more accurate answers. Now let's see what all sources of errors are there, or how do we get errors in our calculations. These are the sources of error through which we might introduce certain wrong values in our calculations. So let's see the sources one by one. The first one is an input error. What is an input error? So whatever value we give as data input, if that itself has an error, then we call that as an input error. So we conduct some experiments or we collect data from different sources, we might conduct survey. So due to all these things, we collect data. So we can't be reliable that all the data that we are collecting are exact, or all the data that we are collecting are accurate. We can't be sure about it, right? So the error that we give, the data, the input that we provide to a program or to an application, that itself might have an error. So that is called as an input error. Okay. Next is algorithmic error. If we have an infinite series expansion, say we have a power series expansion which says 1 by or x by 1 factorial plus x square by 2 factorial plus x cube by 3 factorial, like this you have goes on. It just goes on up to infinity. Can you write a for loop or a while loop to calculate the value for this infinite series? No, you cannot. Your loop should always have a finite number of executions. So therefore, when you are converting an infinite problem to a finite algorithm, we call that as an algorithmic error. Okay. Next we see what is computational errors. So in computational error, the errors that come under this category are those which are a result of elementary operations. So if you are adding two numbers or multiplying two numbers or dividing floating point numbers, we have certain limitations. Say for example, if you are declaring a variable as a floating point variable in C programming, it can store only 6 digits after decimal point. So if you are multiplying two numbers which have 4 digits after decimal point, 3 4 5 6 into 10 power something, and you will have y is equal to 0.2893. So you have 4 digits after decimal point in these two numbers. Now if I multiply this x into y, I will have 8 digits after decimal point. Okay, here 4 digits and here 4 digits. I will have 8 digits after decimal point when I multiply them, which is not allowed because a floating point variable can store only 6 digits after decimal point. So the value is cut down. Okay, the value is approximated, or certain values are discarded due to limitation of storage. Such errors are called as computational errors. So these are the sources of errors. We have three types: input error, algorithmic error, computational error. Input error is what we give it as input to an application or a program that itself has a mistake. Algorithmic error, some infinite procedure, you are writing a program to solve it, so you have to specify finite number of steps, so that is algorithmic error. Computational error, due to calculations, whatever approximations you are doing, whatever values you are leaving off, so that is computational error. Okay, so next we'll see what are types of errors. So what is a generated error? This is generated due to some calculations. So it can be a computational error or it can be a storage error. You give some value, it cannot store all the digits. You are giving the correct value itself. When you are giving a data as input, suppose you are giving an input number which has 7 digits after decimal point, but due to restrictions of storage, it is going to store only the first 6 digits. 7th digit is discarded. That is one generated error. This was basically an input error. This is also called as a generated error. And suppose you do some calculations like I showed you before. You add two numbers or you multiply two numbers, and then again you are limiting the number of digits that you take due to storage limitations. So that is generated due to input or calculations. This is a generated error. Next is round off errors. So round off errors occurs due to approximation. You know this. So this is an approximation error. So that is also called as a round off error. Now this is the first stage of error that is being generated in a program. Now this leads to propagated error. So what is a propagated error? You get a generated error or round off error in one of the steps, and that value, that generated error or round off error, is used in subsequent steps for calculation. Then the error is getting magnified when it is moving from each step to another step. So your error gets increased. So that is called as a propagated error. The next one is a truncation error. What is it? It is arise due to truncating an algorithm. This infinite procedure can be solved using a finite algorithm only. As we cannot write infinite algorithm, we need to write a finite algorithm. Now, I have written a finite algorithm here in which this loop is getting executed only 20 times, right? I have written a finite algorithm. So, this is called as algorithmic error. Okay, so infinite procedure is converted to finite steps. So this is algorithmic error. Now, will I execute this loop 20 times? No, I have a condition here. So what is the condition? I will break the loop as soon as I reach a desired accuracy. Maybe the loop gets breaked when I equals to 5 or something. You have already reduced an infinite procedure to 20 times only. That also you are not executing. You are breaking when I is 5 or 6. Okay, so this leads to truncation error. This is the difference between algorithmic error and truncation error. Okay, now we'll see what are error measures, or they are also called as measure of accuracy. Any measure that gives you what is the measure of error also tells you how accurate the answer is. Suppose we say there is a 3% error, it means there is 97% accuracy. So we have three measures of errors. First one is a absolute error. Absolute error is same as the definition of error. So what is definition of error? Actual value minus approximated value. This is absolute error. So this is a formula. Next is relative error. Relative error is when we need to know for what base that error has occurred. So I will write it as RE. Relative error is x minus xa divided by the original value. Okay, actual value minus approximated value divided by the original value. So this is relative error. We can also write it as absolute error divided by actual value. So the next one is percentage error. Percentage error is absolute error divided by the actual value, and we calculate percentage of this. This is a formula for percentage error. If you observe, this is same as relative error into 100. So these are the three measures of errors. Let us see how to solve these two questions now. So here we have a question which says pi equals to 3.14 instead of 22/7, and you're supposed to find the relative error and the percentage error. So first we will find out what is the actual value. Okay, so actual value is 22/7. So let's find out its decimal equivalent. So we can take, see here we have 2 digits after decimal point. So here we can take 4 digits after decimal point because nothing is given. So you can take as you prefer. So I have taken 6 digits after decimal point. So here I have taken 6 digits after decimal point because if you are writing a program for this, you know in C programming a floating point value will take 6 digits after decimal point, right? So this is the actual value. Now what is the approximated value that is given? Approximated value is 3.14. So that is given in the question. So you are supposed to find relative error and the percentage error. So what is relative error? Difference between actual value and approximated value divided by actual value. So what is relative error? It is absolute error divided by actual value. So I will take the difference between these two. So the difference is 0.002857. I have directly written the difference divided by what is the actual value? 3.142857. So if you calculate, you will get approximately 0.0009. So this is relative error. So next, what is percentage error? It is relative error into 100. So you will get 0. When you multiply 100, these two zeros will go. So you get 0.09%. So always percentage error, you have to mention this percentage symbol. So this is one very simple question. We'll solve the next question now. Here x value is given and y value is given. You are supposed to consider 5 decimal digit accuracy and you have to find x minus y. You have to consider 5 decimal digit accuracy and you need to find the value of x minus y and find relative error in this calculation. Okay, so first we will find the actual value of x minus y, then we will find approximate value of x minus y, and then we'll find the relative error. So what is the actual value? So let's find the actual value, that is x minus y. So actual value of x minus y, when you subtract the given values, you are going to get 0.0001234,322. Okay, so this is the actual value. Now what is the approximated value? You are supposed to take 5 decimal digit accuracy, means you consider only the first 5 digits after decimal point. So approximated value is 0.00012. This is the approximated value. Now we can easily find out what is relative error. So what is the relative error? Difference between actual value and approximated value divided by the actual value. So difference between these two is 0. First 5 digits are going to be 0 when you subtract, and then 34322 divided by the actual value. Now if you simplify this, you are going to get 0.0278, okay, approximately equal to 0.0278. So this is the relative error. In case they ask you percentage error, just multiply 100 to this value, you're going to get 2.78. Here they have not asked you percentage error, so if you have to find, just multiply 100 to this, okay, that gives you percentage error. So you're going to get 2.78% is the percentage of error occurring in this particular calculation. That's it for this video. If you have any questions based on this topic, if you're not able to solve, you can send to us through our Telegram channel or through our email ID, and we will help you in solving those questions. And all our social media links are present in the description. You can go through them and follow our social media profiles. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.